Well, guys, we talked about the worst films. Now we're going to talk about my favorite films. 2018 has been a pretty mixed bag of a year. We've had some okay films, and we've had some really bad films, but we have had some really good films, some great films, some excellent films, and some films that I would put as one of my favorite films of all time. So that's pretty good. So even though this year has been kind of mixed, I can still say that there was some gems there. If it sounds like my voice is a little draggy, I'm just getting over a cold, so bear with me when I'm doing this list. Now, of course, if you watched my best of video for 2017, you'll know that I don't say best films of all time, because in my opinion, best films of all time sounds like I'm saying that these are the best films of the year. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that these are my personal favorites that I love and you might not love. So it makes my list a little bit different, and so that's how I'm gonna do it. So anyway, guys, let's get started by talking first about some of my honorable mentions. Chappaquiddick, A Simple Favor, Searching, First Man, and Black Klansman. I couldn't do this list without first mentioning those films because I really did love those films and they almost made the list. I really wanted to make this list a top 15, but I just couldn't. I had to remain consistent. So anyway, with that said, congratulations to those films. You can kind of see them as my top 15 if you want to, but anyway, let's get started with the actual list. Starting with number 10. Don't Worry He Won't Get Far on Foot was a film that really surprised me. Gus Van Sant is a hit-or-miss director. He's made some excellent films in the past, but recently he hasn't made a good film since, I'm pretty sure, Milk. And this film was very good, telling the true story of John Callahan and his struggles with alcoholism was an excellent, great story to tell, and it's a very human story. I loved Joaquin Phoenix in this film. I thought he was funny. I thought this was a very human performance, and probably his best I've seen of this year. He was in You Were Never Really Here, and he was very good in that, but I think he was even better in this. He just had so much charisma, and I just felt for him the entire time. I absolutely loved this film and thought it should be on this list. Blindspotting might be one of the most surprising films I've seen this year. This was a film I had no idea what it was even about, and I went into it completely blind and ended up loving it. It tackles so many issues of race, and I think it does it even better than something like Black Klansman. I love this film, and I love how funny it was. There were moments where it just lifted and was so funny, even when there was serious stuff going on, but the funniness never detracted from the serious undertones of the movie. I loved this film. Daveed Diggs was excellent, one of my favorite performances of the year, and I'm just glad that this made the list. Bumblebee. I did not expect at all for this to be on the list. I knew this was probably going to be a good movie, but I didn't know I was going to love it this much. I love this story so much. I love the characters. Haley Steinfeld gives an excellent performance, and her relationship with Bumblebee is what makes the film. It makes the relationship between them feel so real and so tangible that I just wish these characters were real. It brought me so much joy watching it. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It did everything I want a film to do. It was just a really fun time and just a fun, enjoyable movie that I loved from beginning to end. And I absolutely love that we finally, after all these years, have a really good Transformers movie that takes itself seriously but has fun with it. It's not bogged down by so much trash. That this was just a very, good, entertaining film. Crazy Rich Asians. Another film that I didn't expect to love as much as I did, and I absolutely loved this film. I had a time of my life with it. It's beautiful, it's well acted, it's funny, it's romantic, and I'm not even somebody that loves romantic comedies. I'm not really interested in the genre, but this one just hit me. I loved everything about this film, from the cinematography to the acting to the characters. I thought these characters were so fun. And this film just had a sense of fun to it that was just intoxicating. It was a great film, and rewatching it again, I'm glad it's on this list. The Old Man and the Gun, just a classic film right there. I love this film to death. David Lowery gives us another great film this year. I absolutely loved this from beginning to end. I love the relationship between Robert Redford and Sissy Spacek's character. I love Robert Redford's character and just how he's stealing from these banks, but he's such a gentleman about it. There's just a laid-back feel to this. It has a very 70s quality to it. I love the relationship between him and Casey Affleck. They're excellent when they play off each other. Has one of my favorite scenes when they confront each other in a bathroom. I love that scene. I love this movie, and this is a great film for Robert Redford to end his career on. This was an excellent film with a terrific final performance from Robert Redford. They Shall Not Grow Old. Peter Jackson crafted such a beautiful documentary detailing the infantry of World War I on the Western Front, and this is an excellent documentary that really brings history in a new light. Peter Jackson spent so much time looking over hundreds of hours of footage and fully restored it, colorized it, put it in HD, and what he did most of all, he gave these people, these silent people, voices. And that is an incredible job. What he did here was amazing. I absolutely loved watching this documentary. This is one of the best documentaries of the year. It's beautiful and just pulls at the heartstrings when you are seeing these people walking around and talking, and it's just amazing what Peter Jackson was able to do with this, just taking 100-year-old footage and making it feel alive again. This was a great documentary. I suggest you guys check it out whenever it's on DVD, because this is one documentary you do not want to miss. This is fantastic. Mission Impossible Fallout might be one of the greatest action films ever made, especially in the 2010s. This is a great film filled with so much action that feels real, it feels raw. I love just how fun this movie was. I love the great stunt work. Scenes in this film just take my breath away, such as when Tom Cruise is jumping out of a plane. I love that scene so much. It's excellent. It makes me hard to breathe because I hate heights, and I love this film to death. I think it's just filled with so much action, wittiness, and overall just a sense of fun and adventure. And honestly, I'm so glad that this movie is as good as it is. I think it's great that these Mission Impossible movies just keep getting better and better with each film. And there's now talks of another one, and I don't know how they're going to top this. This was a fantastic film. Won't You Be My Neighbor was one of the sweetest, just most laid-back things I've seen this year. The documentary details, of course, the story of Fred Rogers and tells his wonderful story and how he changed so many lives. And this film just works so well. it's just a great love letter to an amazing person and really dives deep into what made this person so great, why he had such an impact on so many people. I loved this documentary. This was a really good year for documentaries, I think, and this was by far the best one I've seen. This was just gorgeous, sweet, sympathetic, and I think it's one of the best films of the year. I loved this film. A Star is Born. A Star is Born was a film that just is why I love filmmaking. This film is a film, and I absolutely love that about it. After watching all the other versions, this is by far the best one. This has so much craft and a love of filmmaking in it. The performances are fantastic from across the board. Lady Gaga gives her best performance, gives a standout performance. She is incredible in this film, and I absolutely love her. Bradley Cooper gives a career best performance. I have never seen him better in this film. He is fantastic. The music moves you, and I love that about it. The cinematography, though not the best, is still rather good. I love many things about this film. This film moved me so much. I thought when I saw this, I was like, this is one of the best films I have seen this year. And I love pretty much everything about this, and I've loved it even more as the years gone on. I've watched it again, and it's even better the second time. And I think this is just one great film, and I love it to death. And my number one film of 2018 is... How could I not put Paddington 2 on this list? I absolutely loved this film from beginning to end, and it's crazy that this was the second film I saw this year of 2018. This film just moved me, it made me laugh, it made me cry, it just made me feel like a kid again. Everything about this film just felt so right, so perfect. The writing was just beautiful, the acting over the top, and just amazing to watch. Paddington is such an endearing character. I love this character to death, and the voice actor that plays him does such a good job of conveying just emotion through his voice work. I also love the animation with Paddington. They make this animal just feel so real. I love the characters. I love the villain, the over-the-top villain. The comedy is just so great. This film is so sweet, so gentle, and I love that about this. No film this year has made me feel like how I did when I watched Paddington 2. I loved this film from beginning to end. It's my favorite film of the year, and this is a film that is basically one of my favorite films of all time. I know that's crazy, but honestly, it's the truth. I love this film so much. This brought me so much joy, and I'm just glad that it's on this list and it's in the number one spot. This film I love it. That's all I can say, is I love Paddington 2. And those are my favorite films of 2018, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you agreed with some of these films. Maybe you didn't at all. Maybe you don't like any of my choices. Maybe you like some of them, but hey, we're all different, and that's fine. That's what I love about film, is that we can have different ideas of what we think are the best films, and that's amazing, because my list is not going to be like your list, and that's great. I love that. So really, that's all I've got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and right after this ends, I'm going to show you basically what I gave to all the movies I saw this year. I'm going to give their final ratings in a big long list, and overall show what the score for this year was. What was the end of the year score for film in 2018? Well, guys, that's all I've got for you. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys return to watch me in 2019. This has been a fun year of just doing movie reviews. So with all that said, let's get started with showing my films from best to worst of this year, and then the final score of the year. And the overall score for 2018 in movies is a 5.9 out of 10.